جلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, this will be something we call a preface. When you open a book, there's always a preface of what's going to see in the book. So inshallah, tonight's lecture is about Isra wa Miraj. So this is my short talk, which is Khatera. Inshallah, will be in form of a preface to the story of the Isra wa Miraj, because the real message in Isra wa Miraj was about Salat. So I will kind of talk about Salat and the importance of what Salat is. And I'd like to quote one of the hadiths of Rasulullah about Salat, who says, "Inna awal ma yuhasabu bihi al-abd yawm al-qiyamah as-salatuhu, fa in wujidat tamat kutibat tamat, wa in kana intaqadu minha shay'un qala unzuru al tajidu li min tadarrui yukmilu lahu min da'iya min faridatin min tadarruhi thumma sahiru amal tajri ala asli dhalik." So these are first of all translate and try to give the meaning the way the scholar explains it. Rasulullah said that indeed the first thing that Allah would judge, that Allah would examine on the day of judgment is the salat of ibad, of the slave. And if it is found complete, it will be written complete for him. And if something is missing or is deficient, is lacking somehow, Allah will tell the angels to wait and look into the actions that are voluntary actions of my slave. If something is there for him to complete that which is deficient in the main compulsory action of worship. So Allah will use that to compensate for the deficiency in the salah. And it says, that is, the rest of the actions will be on that way of judgment, as in your zakah, if it's deficient, then Allah will use something like your salah for it. So to explain what the scholar says about this hadith, they said that indeed the first thing Allah will look into is not salah, it is about our iman. That's your faith. Though they are not in the same category, because salah is amalu arkan, it's action of your limbs and everything. But iman is action of the heart. If you don't have iman and you are praying, you don't believe in Allah but you are praying, Allah will not look into that salah. There's no need for Allah to examine and judge according to that. So the first thing that Allah will look into, which is the action of the heart, is our iman. So if you look into that, you want to get rid of shirk, riyah, nifaq, away from our heart. So when you are praying, we make sure it's for Allah's sake. So after that, Allah will now look into the salah. Now it says if something is found deficiency, like maybe from your wudu, the way you make wudu, because they said Miftah Salah al wudu, the key to prayer is your wudu. If your wudu is not complete, it's not okay, you don't have salah. So you got to make sure we are doing wudu perfectly the way Salah did it. So when you enter salah, you want to make sure everything about salah is it's made complete. And there's no time for us to expatiate on how the salah should be made. I will refer us to hadith of Rasulullah that said that a man prayed in the masjid and Rasulullah asked him to repeat about 3 times. And he gave up and said, Rasulullah, teach me, I don't know how to pray any other than the way he prayed. And he said, Rasulullah, when you pray, make sure all the bones are in each position. Make sure your bones are settled before you move on to the next performance in the salah. And also the 7 important parts when you make sujood should contact the floor. Your head, your face, your 2 hands, your knees, and they all should make sure of that. And that one is taken care of. So let's say we pray that we are not perfect, but sometimes we neglect salah in terms of time, in terms of khushur, in terms of the way we should perform it. Allah, according to this hadith, will tell the angel to look into our nawafil and use that as a compensation for it and make the deficiency complete for us. So the scholar said this is a ni'mah from Allah. It's a blessing. Something that Allah didn't command us to do is using it as something He has commanded us to do. So it's a ni'mah from Allah. From this, so the scholar said we should increase our nawafil, your sadaqah, your tasbih, and some other actions that are related to Salat. So also Salat is unique in the sense that everyone has to do it at all times. Look at Siyam, it's only once in a year. And for only people that can be able to do it. Hajj, if you are capable and you are rich enough, you're allowed to go. Zakat too, if your money qualified to be in Zakat measurement. But Salah, no excuse. Whether you're lying down, you can't stand up, Allah wants us to pray. Even in the battlefield, we have to pray. So Salah is unique in that sense. So we must make sure it's complete. Because if like I said in one hadith, he said, وَإِن صَلَحَتْ فَقَدْ أَفْلَحَ وَأَنْجَحَ. If your Salah is sound, in that said, that person will be successful in their judgment. And if when you pass that, if it is not good enough, then that person will regret in the day of judgment. So the scholar says, likewise, like I said earlier, that these amal, the other amal too, like zakat, which is wajib, if it's not complete, Allah will use our sadaqah to fulfill the missing part of it. Your Ramadan, if it's not perfect, Allah will use your 13, 14, your Monday and Thursday, and some other ones to fulfill that also. I think your Hajj, Allah will use perhaps our Umrah to compensate for that. So the other important things we have to remember is that our khushu, we have to take care of it. And I think it takes time. It doesn't come once. One time. You want to make khushu today and you do. And that's it. You have to train ourselves. We have to train ourselves to get to that level where khushu is very important to us. And also, like I said, the key to paradise is Salah. The Tawal Jannah and Salah. There's an hadith on that too. So we should make sure the Salah is taken care of regularly. So like I said earlier, our Iman also, we should not neglect that. We should make sure we know about Iman, talk to scholars, ask ourselves, even discuss within our family. Ask our wife, our children, what do they know about Iman? And if you don't know anything, you go and meet scholars and they will explain what is Iman to us. So with this, I ask Allah to make this our sitting an evidence for us to enter paradise, overlook our faults and mistakes. And lastly, I would like to remind us, Rasulullah advised one of the youth at that time that you should always say after end of every salat that Allahumma a'ini ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. So these are all the dua that will help us to make sure we keep up with the salat and be perfect. So I ask Allah to forgive